Hey everybody, welcome to 20 Sides to Every Story. My name is Casey. Tonight we're going to be playing some Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, working our way into the Dark Tower, which is part of the Kickstarter by Goodman Games to reissue as part of their original Adventures Reincarnated. We're working off of some of their pre-release material, so there will be some things that I have scrounged from older editions, things that I'll be putting together as far as the graphics go, but we're going to be working through the alterations and additional content that they have made, including a little bit later in the campaign, the Chosen Sons of Set, which is a extension putting our players up against, let's call them demigods, for lack of a better term. But that's a little ways away. At the moment, they are only, I think, level 7. We decided to let them start at. Last session, we did some dice rolling. We picked some character concepts and did a little bit of an intro to the Lostlands. We'll be operating in the Lostlands, which is sort of a desert area. Red Moon Pass is up in the mountains and connects to a little bit of a more plainsy area where a lot of better trade is available. The party has traveled with a caravan through the desert. They have made it to Red Moon Pass. The caravan is continuing on, heading up to greener pastures to the north, while they are stopping at the town of Mitra's Fist in order to speak with Prefect Cornelius, a aging cleric who is in charge of one of the temples of Mitra in the town and hasn't turned in his paperwork in more years than is acceptable. It seems like he's been doing this for a while, so they're sort of in the just go check in, remind him that he needs to send his paperwork in, get the paperwork and bring it back. Now the party is a little high level for such a easy fetch job, but that's because they do have to travel the desert alone on the way back, and there is all manner of troublesome things. On the way here, they saw such things as dust and sand mephits. They were warned of djinns and genies out in the lands. They saw giant scorpions and mercifully decided not to stomp on the nest. And there is, of course, always banditry and other such troubles about. Uh, so, as the party has reached sort of the base of Red Moon Pass, they're heading up into the pass now. They said goodbye to their caravan friends who were heading over to the west, and they're now heading up into the east. I'm going to ask for the official introductions because we did not get official names last time. And I do have a little bit of character art up on screen. And I just realized I put the video above the images, so no one watching is seeing the images near the character area. I will fix that as we go. So could I ask for introductions? We're going to start with, and I'm going to butcher the names because this will be the first time I hear them. Dahrian.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
My name's Chris. I am going to be playing Dahrian Greyshale. He is a 7th level cleric of Saloon, Twilight Domain. I guess you had stated, Casey, off screen that down here the goddess Saloon would be considered, I believe, nut. Is
So
that right?
yeah, so in this in the area of the Lost Lands, the gods' names are a little bit flexible. Where you're from, Saloon and Shar sort of represent two sides of the night pantheon, kind of a good and evil, whereas Nut is just sort of the night sky, all encompassing, a little bit more of a mother feature. She knows where the spoon and the cookie dough are. You decide which one you get. Um, so Nut would be the most direct reference or the sort of contemporary.
Okay. Well, Darian is equipped, rides on the horse that he has, full plate. It's actually rather nice. Shield with the emblem of Saloon painted on it. Flail. He looks to be warriorish, but is uh, quite friendly, um, rather observant, and quite helpful. Actually, on the way up, he would have prepared meals for everybody and kind of takes a caring, tending sort of, I guess, flavor to when everybody's out and about. He's a seasoned traveler. He packs light, uh, knows how to pack, what to pack, and what to bring. But at this point is Darian in a nutshell.
Excellent. And apparently the chat likes Dahrian because during Dahrian's intro, the chat has purchased a reroll for everybody. So there are currently 5-player rerolls. I think I will find reasons for you to use those up. So 5-player rerolls have been deployed. Tahir, could we get or Tahir?
Tahir.
Tahir.
Hi, I'm Dawson. I am playing Tahir Lozano. He is a Shadar-kai blade singing wizard. Just based off his appearance, he looks like a very menacing individual. He's like a very slender face, like the very dark black hair is kind of ruffled up behind his headdress and kind of longer robes of sorts, but he is wearing armor. Like a simple kind of like shoulder armor protection and some other like fancy accoutrement attached to that. He has a nice fancy rapier that he keeps at his side. And even though he seems like a guy like, oh boy, that seems like the edgiest guy I've ever seen, he's absolutely not. He is just like an absolute like sweetheart. Like he may like have that long face of someone like, whatever you're saying is stupid. He is not that guy.
Okay. Good to know. So as we learn a little bit more here, by the way, the rerolls came from Rimlock. So thank you, Rimlock, for the rerolls there. I had to catch up on my back scroll. Everybody was doing all kinds of neat things. And if I'm reading correctly, level 4 hype train already. So again, thank you out there to the chat. And as we move along here, I have realized I've made the character images too transparent. I will fix that in a moment. But Tann, or Tann.
It's Tann.
Tann, you got it.
Tann. Hi, I'm Jenna. I'm going to be playing Tann Grisner. He is a fellow of centaur shape, because I've just always wanted to play a centaur. There's never a time to do it, so I was like, I'm going to make that time now. So he's got, for a centaur, he's kind of got more of a goatee ibex type appearance. I wanted him to kind of fit that kind of Egyptianish, North African type area, I guess, that the setting is in.
Mm-hmm.
So I based him off of like an ibex. He is a storm sorcerer with a little dip into Tempest Cleric. He's all about the storm. He's very chill. Despite his very chill and kind of relaxed personality, he's a bit of a thrill seeker, so he'll kind of go into things headstrong, but you wouldn't think it kind of when he's going into it, he's just kind of like little just relaxed back, but he's like, all right, man, let's go in and have some fun, and then he'll just like charge in.
All right, awesome. So by the way, for those of you who are like, wait a second, since we were doing the 5e version, I did give the players full access to all the things. So the only thing I asked them to do, just because I'm not personally caught up yet, is please no vampiric plasmas, which they were threatening me with earlier. I just wasn't ready for the ooze monster player yet. But they did have access to all other things, and I'm sure nonsense will continue. As we move on from there, Andry.
Hi, my name's Percy. I am playing Andry. Andry is a barbarian fighter. He likes to be hit. He enjoys fighting, but he doesn't like killing things. So he doesn't use a weapon. He only uses his hands.
Got it. So Andry, only using your hands there. While that was happening, Tahir, Tahir, Tann, where did it go? Somebody just earned the party another reroll here.
That was Shady.
Shady?
Shady got it for Tahir.
Yeah, Shady picking one up for Tahir. We are throwing it in the pool, but Tahir does have apparently dibs on one of them.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, oh, you okay? Thank you very much for that.
Thanks,
No
Shady.
no post-it notes this campaign. We're going for the player reroll in the bucket style. But we got other stuff out there. Maybe rumors. Rumors have been lots of fun to buy for campaigns, especially early on. So good night, Shady. Thanks for swinging in. Blitz, your turn for the intro. What do we got?
This guy right here, living suit of armor. They call it Warforged. This is kind of a bunch of scholars of Lorehold from Strixhaven Academy. Got a hold of one of these things and threw a bunch of crap in it and turned him into this guy. And then they're into looking into old ruins and learning about the past. And they figure they're a bunch of bookworms and maybe they're better off sending in some machine to gather the information and bring it back to campus for him. But he's kind of naive. He doesn't have a lot of real world experience, just a lot of tricks he's going to try to learn to use on the fly here.
Sounds
to match
good.
myself, because I've never played a character this high level before, so we'll see how that goes.
That's okay. I'm sure the first couple of encounters won't be that deadly. We'll see. So on that note, let's start talking about where we are. You entered the pass with the caravan. The caravan split off to the west. You're heading up to the east. They've been traveling at a good clip. They're making good time. Their plan is to get to the far side, kind of around where it would come, and then they'll be making camp, whereas you're heading towards the town. It's going to be early afternoon as sort of the town comes into view. You're only maybe a quarter of a mile away from where the other pass is, but it's up down mountains, so you can't really go direct to them. You'd have to go back down and back up again if you were going to try and catch up with the caravan, or if the caravan was going to try and catch up with you. As you're coming up the town set, we've got a little map switch to take care of here, so just a moment. Come on over. By the way, I am not taking control of the music. If it does spooky stuff on its own, that's just it deciding that it needs some drama. As we switch maps, please confirm that you're able to see a map with a bunch of black blocks on it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yes.
And as we do a little zooming out, zooming in here for the players at home, the black blocks that you see there are basically buildings. And as you are entering from the south side, the one that is sort of front and center as you're coming up what isn't really a path so much as it's the only flat place to walk before you start heading up the other side of the hill, is probably the local jail or constabulary. It just has that sort of squat, blocky, narrow window sort of look to it. It's got a small wall in the front, maybe 7 to 10 foot high. Most of the buildings that you see are built of field stone or stacked stone from the mountain. Most of them are one story. The ones that are not would be this one over here. Let's call out the biggins. This one over here, which looks to be a manor house of some sort. It looks to be well assembled. The stones have sort of a cementing or a mortar to them. Similarly, this one right here looks to be an inn or tavern style building. Again, 2 floors, good mortared cement stone. And your conversations with the caravan folk let you know that this is the Overlord Inn. So it's the only inn in town. If you did have to stop in Mitra's Fist, this is where you would do it. But most people kind of just give it a pass. Why spend money that you don't have to? And the town's got a little bit of a rough reputation. Along with that, over on the eastern side here, rising up a little ways, is a small, looks like a guard tower or kind of a hidey hole, more a defensive structure than an offensive one. It doesn't really have turrets or anything like that that you would expect to be defending from. If bandits were come, people maybe would head to that kind of hole up till the bandits went away. And then on the far side of town, if you were to go back out but higher up on the hill so you can still see it, is the Shrine of Mitra. Now this is up on an elevation. It's probably 30 to 40 feet up a hill from where you are already, and then it rises another good 60 to maybe 80 feet. A nice sizable temple. Decent in construction. It looks sound. Everything else here looks a little run down and kind of secondhand. Off to your west here, as you come in, you can see sort of a gathering of five or so houses. They've got sort of that that look to them that the doors were made of wood that used to be something else. Like the field stone is kind of still there, but the doors have extra sort of screw holes and straps and things on them that you're like, I don't know what that used to be, but it definitely was something else a little while ago. And the rest of the sort of houses have that sort of, worn in, worn down, kind of aging look to them. This is definitely no longer the ideal path through the pass, so, it's probably dried up a little bit as far as trade goes. Now, one of the things we're going to be doing as we go into each new scene or situation is I'm going to be asking what the characters are doing, and if they would like, they may use one of their skills or assist one of their party members with a skill. Things that would be common: perception, survival, insight. If you want to see perception, who might be watching you; survival, looking at tracks and trails; insight, what's the attitude in the area; other things, if you've got any carpentry skills, stonework skills, that sort of stuff; religion, really anything that you'd like to kind of pitch out there. And we'll do that as sort of at the time the next thing happens, what is your character engaged in? And for this, we'll go with reverse order. So we're going to go right to left across the screen, starting with Blitz. And Blitz, I forgot to ask, is Bowser with you right now? Is he a constant companion, or was that a thing that was going to happen?
Yeah, I think generally speaking, it'll be. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention, but yeah, he's a battlesmith, so this is his steel defender, the little companion buddy there.
You got it.
Oh.
So Blitz and Bowser, what are you doing? What action are you sort of engaged in as you're moving up towards the town?
For some reason, those doors sounded really interesting to me. He said they were fashioned out of something else. I think maybe that might catch his eye, and he might investigate. He's got the tool proficiencies to check it out and see like how the craftsmanship is on it.
Sure. So let's go with one of your tool sets. Do you happen to have carpentry?
Oh no, masons.
Okay, masons. Oh, if you have masons, okay, cool. So if you've got masons, let's go with that. Go ahead and give me a go ahead and roll your mason's tool and use. Let's call this one wisdom. So if you hit your mason's tool and it asks you what skill set to use, go with wisdom, and we'll pick some info up from there. As that's happening, Andry, what skill set might you be applying as we're walking into town?
Andry, he spies the inn,
Mhm.
and he's gonna ask the group, so who's got the first round? Because he wants to go get a drink. He's also looking at his second water skin, which may be a little oversized and is pretty much empty at this point. We've been traveling a while.
You have been, and through desert area. This is the first kind of moisture that you've come up with. So aside from the inn, any skill set that we want to throw, aside from encouraging the party in that direction?
No, he's just looking for a drink.
You got it. Cool. Tann, as we kick over to you, what might you be doing as we come into town?
Tann might be just kind of trying to pick up some chit chat with just like people as they pass by, kind of giving like a little hey, hello, and if it kind of enters into some more, maybe ask them like how things have been. So, or I guess trying to just gently like grab some like surface level information about the area. Maybe persuasion if that's possible.
Sure.
Just like from doing some light chit chat around the area.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and throw a persuasion check in there. All right. Gives me an idea what's going on. We'll come back with all the results in a second. Tahir, what might you be doing as we're coming into town?
You know, I think I once heard of this town. I think it kind of correlates to some sort of historical event I'm trying to think of, but I can't quite pick it out.
Oh, sure. I think that,
Something about the history of the town.
that would be a history check. Let's go ahead and see a little history action there. Okay. It's a number. And Dahrian, as we come into town, what might you be doing?
Well, Dahrian says, is it Andry? Is that how you pronounce it, or Andry?
Andry.
Andry. He says, Andry, my new friend, since you're so large, I have your first two.
Ooh.
Oh, I like you.
And he
You're
will,
my favorite.
as we come up into town, knowing that this place is supposed to have kind of a bad reputation or whatever,
Mhm.
I'm going to be keeping my eyes peeled for, I guess, anybody taking notice that we're coming in, seeing, how many people do I see walking around, just kind of getting trying to get a general sense of the town as we enter.
Sure. So as you're coming into town, I think maybe that would be on the insight side of things or perception, depending on which way you want to go. Go ahead and give me the roll there. And we'll kind of kick back over. So let's see here. Blitz with the masonry. So it looks like these houses were built some time ago, and the rocks that were used look like they broke free from higher up the hillside. Now that's a little unusual. If you're doing fieldstone, that sort of stuff, you would just basically take it out of the fields that you're going to be farming, and then you build with it. You don't want to go all the way up the hill and bring it all the way back down. So this is not quite right here. And I think Tahir will fill in a little bit there that this area did suffer a fairly momentous landslide at some point. There was a town here at some point in the distant past. There was a massive landslide, and this town was then built up atop it. And the two of you were able to kind of converse on that one. Tann, as you're trying to say hi and hello, you're getting a number of looks. The folks off to the west there in a little more of the rundown part are definitely just kind of like, yeah, you just. And Dahrian, as they're doing that, you can see that they're not really talking to Tann or even looking at you all so much as they are kind of eyeing up what you're carrying. They're sizing up marks at this point, very clear to you. That's maybe the rough part of town. The constabulary, as you go past, you see someone just sort of look out and give you a little wave. You looking for the inn there?
Yeah, that'd be pretty helpful.
Oh, you just right up past and in on the right and say hello. They'll get you set up. Melkor is the bartender. He'll get you squared away. You can't miss him. Big fella, big laugh.
Oh, sweet, kind of like our big fella over here. And he's just gonna kind of give like a lazy gesture over to Andry.
Oh, not quite that big, but still pretty big.
Oh, okay.
If you want someone that big, you're gonna have to go to the smithy.
Oh, who's at the smithy?
Oh, Oldham's over at the smithy. Can't miss him either. If he looks like he's on fire, that's just the way he looks.
That's pretty cool. I don't know, anything interesting happened here recently?
Not of late. I mean, caravans come and go, pick up a little bit of trade. Is there something you're looking for?
Nah, I just like to get like the news on new places that we go to. That's about it. And he's just kind of like, he kind of looks a little ditzy as he's talking, but he's just having a good old time.
And at
As
that point,
Andre's walking away, he's going to say, "Hey, Tann, aren't we looking for the prefect?"
Oh. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Where can we find the prefect?
oh, old Cornelius? Yeah, he'd be up at the temple most likely, though. He's getting on in years, so you're probably going to want to talk to his acolytes. They'll be about the place as well. Talk nice and slow to old Cornelius, and no sudden moves. He's, got a heart.
Oh. Thanks. We'll keep that in mind.
All right, well, you have a good one then.
Is there anybody? Should we say? Should we let Melkor know who sent us?
Oh?
Your name, sir.
Oh! I thought you were asking who sent you here, and I was going to say I didn't know, and I thought there was a joke coming.
No.
No, you can tell him, yeah, you can tell him that the person whose name I just lost, is saying hello. Bolt.
Thank you, my good man.
Scratch that. Han. I was going to try and pass it off as Bolt, but you've been talking to me too long. He knows Bolt can't speak.
And Han was what? I'm sorry?
Han.
Oh, Han.
Han Philo.
And I missed like
Oh sure. Decent looking human. Fair skin for the the weather. You would expect right next to the desert, up in the mountains, a little more tan to him, but fairly fair skin. Blonde hair, nice smile. He looks like the constabulary should. He's got chainmail on, halberd sort of over there, little dagger on his side. Seems like a capable representative of a town militia or constabulary.
Cool. I missed that you said that he was the constable, so I was like, who's this guy?
Maybe not the constable himself. He doesn't have that sort of like I'm in charge air. More like you've seen town guards before. Probably a town guard of some sort.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome.
And as
What time of day is it, Casey?
You're probably mid to late afternoon, depending on how much of a hustle you got on it, coming up the mountain pass there. So actually, I'll turn that one over to you. It was early afternoon when you said goodbye. If you guys have been moving at a good clip, then it's mid afternoon. If you're a little more casual in your travels, late afternoon. What sort of speeds do you tend to move at? Uphill this time.
I think at an easier pace.
Okay.
Uphill.
Yeah, so I would say late afternoon, enough time to get into town, get your bearings, get yourself a nice meal, and then, settle in for an evening. You could probably make it over to the shrine and say hello. How about a quick religion check from anybody who would care about, when it might be okay to call on the Shrine of Mitra?
Anyone can give this a try?
Sure.
Oh.
Wow, we are consistent.
Consistent.
That's right.
Consistency is our mark.
Excellent.
That's right. He's seen a cleric or two.
The guys from Mitra, they like to sleep a lot.
They do. They do. So you would know, generally, daylight hours they would be more active. Nighttime they tend to shutter things a bit. And especially it being, someone described as old Cornelius, probably get there during the daylight if you want to have a better chance of meeting with them. All right, cool. From there, the town's open to you. You can continue on north, past the constabulary towards the tavern. You could head up kind of around to the side, a little up the hill there, and head over towards the temple instead. Where might we be headed?
Well, I think we probably should procure a room.
Get something to eat.
Get something to eat. We may want to send one of us over to at least let the prefect know that we wish an audience with him in the morning. I'll volunteer to do that, or a couple of us or something, but just...
I can go with you. I don't really like sitting down in one place for a certain amount of time. It kind of go against what I kind of do. So, being the inn, not my style. I'll walk along with you.
Yeah, Blitz and the dog don't need to eat, so he'll just probably tag along too.
Okay.
This dinner's getting smaller and smaller. Although Andry might.
I'll take care of it. It's fine. You guys want rooms?
I can help set up the rooms too, and maybe get us a good deal for Din time.
Sounds good.
Sounds fantastic.
All right. So the party kind of moves along, starts to divvy up instructions for food and that sort of stuff. As you sort of pass out of the kind of rough part of town and the constabulary, you see a small building that looks like it has two shops. The shop door on the left looks like it is boarded up, closed down, and totally shuttered. The shop door on the right, it's swinging. I mean, it's open, but the sign's been taken down. There's no indication that it is open for business anymore, so much as it's just an open door. No one's like rushing towards it or having a problem, but there is an abandoned or semi-abandoned building right about there. You continue on your way, at which point you're coming up on your left-hand side. There'd be a 20-foot high stone wall surrounding the manor house. That looks like a pretty sizable obstacle for anyone who wished to approach unannounced. Let's get myself caught up here. Mouse? What you doing, Mouse? Hiding things from me.
Squeak.
Squeak, squeak.
How many of us had mounts? I had one.
I am one.
You are one? Okay. Am I the only one? I take it?
I think so.
I mean,
I think so.
my
He's got a
pulls
dog.
little chair, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Qualify.
as you're passing along off to the left, a 20-foot high stone wall of tight-fitting blocks surrounding a two-story manor house. A closed pair of metal reinforced dark wood doors block the entrance to what you would imagine to be the courtyard beyond. You can catch the sound of some animals, so there's likely they have their own stables or pen within the walls. You can also catch the sound of some animals coming from around the far side of the tavern itself. So as you're moving forward, you see the tavern, and it's got a door open and inviting, waiting for folks to come in. As you're standing there, you can also see to the left another entrance sharing the same building, but obviously styled a little bit different. It seems to be a place of trade of some sort. We do have people in the party who read, correct?
A little bit.
A little bit? Okay. So the inn itself, by far the largest building in the Sleepy Village, two-story building composed of cemented fieldstone, and it has a slate roof atop. A blue painted sign displays a mailed gauntlet holding a frothy earthen tankard. Above the images of the word, the Overlord Inn. On the left-hand side, attached to the inn, a stone building, flat roof, prominent sign out front depicting an array of mundane supplies indicating a general store or a trade post of some sort. There's a faint stench of animal coming from stables or other pen to the rear. Now I think someone was breaking off to arrange for food, or is the party sticking together at this point?
Remind me, whose turn was it to pay for rooms again? It wasn't mine, was it?
I'll take care of it. It's really no problem. I don't know. Yeah. You guys got this. You guys are gonna talk to the guy on the hill, yeah? Or someone was. Where was I going to?
Well, I guess we'll see if he's awake for starters.
That's true. Anyway, I'll cover for the rooms.
I got drinks and food this evening, so.
Okay, so I know who's paying, I think, but is the party staying together or is someone breaking off?
Oh.
I think Andry and Tann were going into the inn.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go in.
Sounds good. So Andry and Tann, if you would do me a favor, just make sure you can move your characters about, and then slide yourselves on over into the inn here, where she'll hopefully see Melkor, and we're gonna catch the stream up and zoom back in so we can see things with a little more clarity here. Now, Tann and Andry, as you enter, Melkor is indeed a big fella. Barrel-chested male human, sandy brown hair, square jaw, keeps his lips pressed together, like a little bit like that. And hey, welcome to the Overlord's Inn. Will you be staying? He sort of stops and he, like, looks up and kind of past Tann and sort of down and he looks over at Andry.
We're
Not to be rude, but room or stable for that one?
You're gonna be good friends.
Either or works. We at least need. I don't know. Do you think they want to share or like separate? How much is a room?
A room, we can get you set up for 5 silver for a room if you want it on your own. And if you don't want a common room, that's a bit cheaper. Will you need dinner, drinks? What can I get for you?
All of that.
Yeah.
I think we will get along just fine. Thank you. Now, he started looking out past you as the rest of the party sort of heads on. I see you had some more with you in your party.
Yeah.
Will they need rooms as well?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Good evening
Andry,
for Melkor.
Pull out 10 gold and put it down on the counter.
Wait, I'm sorry, did you say pull out 10 gold and put it on the counter?
Yeah, let me know when you need more.
Okay, and as dunk 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 goes down, he's like, you see him just like start to smile, and as he does, his lips kind of part, and you can see his teeth are stone gray, like to the point where they might be stone. Oh. We'll see you done nicely. Do you like wine, beer, whiskey?
Beer, please.
Beer. Big mugs, yeah?
Oh, and could you fill this? And he'll hand over his water skin.
Beer, right?
Beer.
Yeah. He goes over and you can see him like bonk. Gluk, 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 gluk. Hands that back to you. Fills up a nice big mug. Now, we're up in the mountains. We're in the desert. It's, decent. We'll say even strong. But it's got a little bit of a, maybe not the highest quality. But strong and full of volume. Now, How long will you be staying? You've paid enough for the next couple of nights, of course, but, will I need to bring on more servants?
Probably.
Maybe.
I eat a lot.
Oh. Right. And for
He's-
you there, sir?
Oh. You got a menu? I might need a menu.
I suppose.
Or what do you recommend?
And he sort of like reaches down and he pulls out like a parchment. And he sort of shakes it off, and like dust just like slumps off it. And he like,
Oh.
I'm sure we can still make any of this, but really it's meat, bread, stew, beer, wine, whiskey, fish when we can catch them, rabbit, sort of a potluck. Do you eat meat, hay, oats?
All of the above, yeah.
Huh.
He gives like a big old toothy smile, and like he's got like this like big old gaps in his teeth, but he'll be like, yeah, maybe like a stew to start, and some bread, and some beer, and 1, 2, 3, 4,
Whoa!
5.
How many stomachs have you
rooms.
got in there?
Oh, I gotta get rooms for the rest of them too. Or is it Andry? Did you buy the rooms?
I think so.
Oh, we're gonna get along fantastically. And the gold's like already disappeared. And as that's sort of going on, lots and lots of drinks, food starts being called. Melkor calls in some assistants to help start supplying the big spenders, apparently. He seems to be going about it. Friendly sort of fella. It's maybe a little off-putting that he's got something's going on in there. They're false,
Yeah,
they're stone, there's something, but
That looks so uncomfortable.
yeah. So maybe
Should we ask about that?
do you ask about?
Maybe give it a day. It might come off as a bit forward if we do it the first night. It's like a date. You don't gotta. You just wait till the second one to start. Really, digging.
Wait, I'm not dating him.
No, I know, but it's like you're making a comparison. It's not a date. I'm not saying you date the man. He's got some gnarly chompers. You're gonna have to. I'm just saying. Let's wait before we point out the gnarly chompers.
I don't think I'm gonna kiss him anyway. So it'll be
Okay,
fine.
I didn't think you were.
All right. So as that's going on, let's pan over to see what's been happening with the rest of the team. So as you make your way through the town on the far side of the tavern, as you kind of bend around, you can see there's a little well there, probably where most of the town's drinking water would come from. Off to the left-hand side, over to the west there's a another mercantile of some sort. This one seems to be a grain exchange, so likely it's more of a trading house than an actual shop. And then the final one, kind of on the north side there, you can see and smell the sounds of a smithy. See and smell the sights and scents of a smithy. You hear the sounds. Had a little trouble with which senses do what there. But there's a person working in a smithy. You can dong 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 noises coming out of there. Up the hill, a little ways, you've got the shrine, and you can see from the inside of the shrine there is some light coming out, so someone is doing something in there. Where's the other three of the party headed?
Well, if you ask me, the smithy always seems like a fun place to go. Sometimes you have the most wondrous curiosities in there.
I do not disagree with that, but
I mean, look at yourself, and he's like going to do tink tink tink. I mean, that's some pretty sturdy stuff.
yeah, well, I think first and foremost we need to announce that we are here. Cornelius was supposed to send his paperwork and everything, and he didn't do it. This might give him a heads up that if we're coming back tomorrow morning. But I would say let's check there first. If you want to stop by the smithy on the way back to the inn, I don't have a problem with that.
Oh, I'm all for this idea, but I like where you're going with this. How it's gonna be like, hey Cornelius, we're here. Where's the paperwork? We don't need to see it right now, but for tomorrow, we want to see some paperwork. Then he pulls an all-nighter and does all the paperwork.
There you go. Absolutely.
I like the way you think.
What say you, Blitz?
Yes, I like it. Time to do his homework.
Yes, right. So yeah, I'll lead my. At this point, I'm walking. I'm not riding my horse or whatever. I'm walking my horse. But when we get up there, I'll tether it and. I guess give a rap on the door. I don't know if it's open or not. But...
Sure. Let's catch up to what you got. So it's set up on a hill, overlooking the sleepy village. That you just came out of. A white marble tower rises up. The winding dirt path that you just sort of trekked upwards to make the, not a straight climb up the hill, but to give it a little bit of a reasonable elevation. Leads to an open-ended structure, so you're able to see right into it. A pair of columns flank the entrance, and it arches to a dome above. And we're having another mouse fight here to reveal the area. And thank you to whoever just made whatever ding-ding noise that was. Let me check back and see what chat has been up to here. Oh, thank you for the follow, Forgotten Troop. Thanks for joining us. We are working our way through the Dark Tower and getting ready for the Goodman Games re-release as part of their original adventures, Reincarnated. Blitz, Tahir, and Dahrian. What you see is a number of individuals moving about inside the temple. They are basically doing busy work, polishing here, cleaning there, shifting things from side to side, lighting candles, blowing them back out again, relighting them, the sorts of things that you do. While in the middle of this, seated on one of the pews, is a fairly aged fellow. You would say in human years he's probably approaching that sort of like 70 to 80 year mark, and it looks like he's had a rough 70 to 80 years. He's sort of shrunken down in on himself a bit. He's got that little stoop starting. His hair has definitely turned to white, and it's getting to that thin, stringy, almost brittle looking curl that can develop there. Nice flowy beard though. The beard hasn't given out on him yet. You would know by description that is likely Prefect Cornelius. Those moving about, they're not wearing vestments of any sort, but they're 99% likely the acolytes mentioned. What are y'all doing?
I think the entrance Blitz will raise his fist, and he's got an eye kind of right here that lights up as he kneels, and it looks like he's doing a little prayer. And then he kind of looks like, I don't know why I just did that, as they enter.
So as you make your way in, maybe what inspired you was the age of this place. This isn't thousands of years old, but it's certainly hundreds of years old. The pews inside have that sort of well-worn, curves to them. The dips where people have sat over years and years and years. Everything's got that polish that's worn in for ages. There's 10 fluted marble columns encircling the chamber inside. Someone went to great effort to get marble to this location and then erect it. And then at the end of the temple, so towards the far side, a 20-foot tall statue of a human figure, Adonis-like, young, maybe in the 15 to 20 range, with a serpent wrapped around his lower body, and he seems to be crushing the head of it. So being attacked by a serpent, but defeating it. If you have any religious knowledge, you would certainly guess this is a depiction of the god Mitra. They're sort of going around. Now, as you sort of Blitz, I think you probably clank a little when knee hits the ground. So one of the women sort of turns to you and like she's got that like brow furrowed scowl of what are you doing making noise in here, you oaf? And she doesn't say it, but obviously thinks it. Oh, who are you? What are you doing here? What are you?
I am a messenger. We are here to see the prefect. He did not turn in his homework.
Homework?
I think he meant to say paperwork. Sometimes we say words in two different meanings. Sometimes like interchangeable, but not really. He has some paperwork that's due back at.
Okay. You're going to need to slow down a lot if you want to talk to Cornelius. He's getting on a bit. My name's Hisa. So let's try this again. What do you need to tell him?
He needs to turn in his paperwork to, and he says the correct name of the place that they need to get their paperwork back to, because I don't remember.
Church of Mitra, we'll go with that, yep.
Thank you.
Oh, is it that time again already? Oh, he's just gotten so forgetful these times. Do you know what sort of paperwork it would be?
Do we know?
Chris, yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know. I don't know if Chris remembers.
So the party would have been told what it is. It's basically the reports on tithes, funds, basically taxes, that you would be reporting back up to say, hey, we haven't got anything to send back, but we are at least reporting in. Also, I'm alive. So that's sort of the report structure that needs to happen. You would know how to express that if you chose to.
The standard yearly reports.
I don't know what those are. Irfan, and she calls to another of the folks there, and they sort of come over, start talking to you there. These people, these people are here for paperwork or reports from Cornelius for the temple. And Irfan's like, oh, is it that time again? He's getting older. I'm so sorry that you had to come out all this way. You know how they can be when they get on. Are you able to stay a little bit? I don't think. And he sort of looks back over to where Cornelius is like just started to turn his head and look over in your direction. He sort of keeps his voice down and kind of gestures you to. I don't think he's even thought to start that sort of stuff. Are you able to wait for a little while we sort of coach him through it?
Sure, that's absolutely fine. We're not in any rush. I guess also it's a good thing to know that he has to kick the bucket per se. That was also a kind of concern.
Oh,
so
no, not.
It's been a bit.
Not yet. I hope. I'm not sure how to respond to that.
Well, it's always good to check in from time to time on those who haven't heard back from a while. So, I mean, sometimes it's difficult for words to get around, but at least we know he's nice and well. For time frame, how long do you think you'll need?
Well, I don't. It's so late in the afternoon. I don't want to really bother him with it now. So I was going to kind of ease him into it maybe tomorrow over breakfast to kind of remind him that it needs to be done, then see how long it'll take. We're a small village and the temple doesn't really do much here, so you don't really tithe all that much, So I can't imagine it's a lot of math for him. But, and at this point, kind of Cornelius is, got his hands on the bench and he's pushing himself up and he turned himself around and he's like, Oh, who's there? He said, do we have guests? Worshippers? Oh, come, come, sit, bask in Mitra's glory. Is it time for? Oh, yes, it must be nearly time. I'll get started. And you can hear him creak as he gets up, and you hear the chimes go as he starts to shift, his accoutrements around and get up and move towards the front. It seems he's going to perform a mass or a service of some sort for you if you decide to stay around. And Irfan's like,
You sure he's up to this, ma'am?
If would you mind leaving and coming back tomorrow, and we'll kind of get him through the service. But if he sees there's more people here, he'll probably get to a sermon. It'll excite him too much. Do you mind?
No, that's fine. Noon tomorrow. Say right before lunchtime.
A little before
we do
noon.
have better.
If you could make it, enjoy your breakfast. It takes him a little time to get going in the morning. So, but a little before noon. He has to nap after lunch. So, we don't want to push him too much. I'm glad you.
One question that I do have, when we came into town, I guess it was apparent that some of the locals were sizing up our property. I have a horse outside. Is it possible for me to leave my horse here? Do you guys have a way to stable a horse? Or I'm just worried about it perhaps getting stolen along with all of my stuff.
Oh, you'll wanna lock it up in the inn then. I mean, if it's a particularly fine horse, I suppose you could ask to pay extra to lock it in with the constabulary's horses. But I don't think we'd have any trouble out of the tavern. And don't pay too much mind. The whole town's sort of, we all came here, at least our ancestors came here looking for treasure, so it sort of runs in the blood. If we see shiny stuff, we kind of want to know what it is. Also, no offense, and he just sort of gestures towards Blitz and Bowser. You're not,
Oh, is he a little dirty?
We're not standard.
Yeah, that would be a good way to phrase that.
Okay.
So, and at this, Cornelius at this point is kind of broken out, and you can see him, he's starting to crumble up some incense and get it going. He's starting to swing it. You can hear like the chain as he's swinging the little incense holder clanking, and he bumps it against his hip. Oh.
All right. Well, I will take out 5 gold pieces and put it in their tithe box.
Oh, thank you. That'll probably, it's gonna make the old man do a little more work, but, probably make his paperwork look better, so thanks.
Quite welcome.
And with that, you can see the other two have kind of moved to, flank Cornelius and kind of help him. And like you can see, he's kind of like getting himself set up, like he's gonna do, some speechifying, and they sort of just like keep him moving past the speechifying area, and then get him kind of sitting back down. He's sort of looking around, like, how did I get here? They seem to have him well in hand. Kind of. What's the party doing from here?
Well, shall we go meet with the others?
Yeah.
Or do you want to go to the forge?
I mean, you guys can go meet with the others. I at least want to see what they have in there. I mean, I prefer the light stuff, but it's always wonderful to gawk at.
Well, I'll tell you what. Blitz, do you mind going with Tahir, and I will let the other
Yes,
two
I'm
at the
curious
inn
as
know.
well.
Okay.
Sure.
So I will leave these two. I will go to the inn and look up the other companions, and that's where I will be.
You got it. So Dahrian, I'm gonna guess that you arrive just in time to see like Andry and emptying the third or fourth, moderately sized barrel of ale. Once you get in there, Melkor will, I see a horse as well. I was thinking we would only be stabling the one of you. But all right, you've given me enough. We'll get you stabled up there. And he's sort of looking around.
Your stables are pretty secure, yes?
Oh yes, there's actually a guard that we keep in the stables to keep an eye on things. Or, as you take your horse in, don't let it step on any hay piles that look larger than usual. And he just seems upset that he can't find something or someone about the place.
Do you need any help, man?
Well, you see, we let Balder stay in the stables. He's fond of the drink, so he doesn't like to be too far from the tavern, but he's supposed to be about to help with stabling horses and keep an eye on the place. Don't really expect him to do anything other than scream and fall out of a haystack should anyone come in there. We got, the constabulary for that, but it would have been nice for him to escort our esteemed guests here. But as you go in, if you make a little noise, they'll turn up. And as that's going on, up here to the north, the party opens the door to the smithy, or at least approaches it. A squat stone building with a slate roof in good repair. Oversized chimney belching constant clouds of dark smoke. Crooked nails and a shield-shaped wooden sign of a hammer crossed with a pair of long-handled tongs. It is the forge of the area. You can hear, coming from the shop over the sound of bellows and such things, the big whoosh and whoof kind of noise going on. Someone going, no. Hotter. It's got to be hotter. Not bigger flames. Hotter. What don't you understand about it? And then, whoop-bang, something bangs off one of the walls inside, and you can see, a little reverberation carrying up through the stone into the frame. Whatever that just got thrown, it was beefy. Are you opening that door?
I feel like I'm going to have a wonderful conversation with this man. I don't know about you.
Sure.
All right. So, what do we think he threw? I'm going to go for... Nah, the anvil will be too heavy. Maybe the hammer?
The hammer was my first thought, yes.
Well, we can't both say hammer, then that's boring.
Indeed.
I'm going
I'll
to
say
say... I'll give you the hammer on this one. I'll say he threw a very large nail.
Interesting theory.
You were so close. As you open the door, and after introductions, you will realize it wasn't a very large nail, it was a moderately sized Neil. So Neil, the blacksmith's apprentice, is currently rubbing his head as he sits next to the wall like, at the bellows right now is an enormous man, fiery red hair, curly, huge mutton chops, hairy to the point of almost furry arms, like that kind of curly red hair that just looks like this dude is on fire right now. And he is working the bellows, and as he's doing so, he's like, what you have to do is all the way up, all the way down. You can't let it go. Just slamming down doesn't do it. That just, and he's kind of going on, giving instructions to this apprentice who's just like, I have no idea where I am right now. And so, giant of a man, but human. Giant of a human man. You actually have some rather large people in the group. Just rough, and you can see that now that he's at it, when you open the door, it was warm in here. Seconds later, it is now like your face feels like it's drying out. Blitz, you can feel that, you're starting to get that discoloration around the ridges as you're starting to pick up a little bit of heat from being this close to the flames. Neil is just kind of like looking up at you as like, are you people? Whereas this big red giant of a man is just pumping away at the bellows. The other assistant is like looking at you like, please distract him. He's holding the tongs like, I don't want to hold this while he hits it like this. Could you? And what are you doing?
Greetings.
Ooh, greetings. Who are you?
I am Tahir. I've come to browse your wares of sorts.
We are potential customers.
You are. And he sort of stops and he looks at you. He's like, I like your armor.
He complimented you.
Yep, he was. Yeah,
Oh.
Blitz. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I
I'm
knew who
sorry.
I was pointing at. You did. Blitz. He
He's pointing
points
at you.
to you.
He's pointing at you, Blitz.
Oh, thank you.
No.
I made some of it myself.
Oh, well done, well done. A little guilty. I think you could get a little more iron, a little more steel on there. Really bulk it up, as that's where the safety is. And he kind of gestures over. Now you take that one there, and he points up to where a breastplate is. I found that if you add additional rivets to it, really you can feel the safety. And he points to where there's some half plate, and there's some pieces that could be assembled into full plate. It's not like a complete set there, but everything on here, like if it could be replaced with metal or chain, it has been. Like places where there should obviously be like leather connections, there's chain links going on there. Places where there should be like tiny discrete chainmail to give it good flex, there's like chonky links sitting in there. He gestures over at the weapons and he's like, now what are you carrying? Your sword looks anemic. Gesturing towards Tahir. I think you said you had a rapier?
Oh, he does. Yes, and he'll pull out the blade. It's like a very fine blade, like nice little, like, kind of like the Damascus pattern, and how going along the edge of it.
I mean, that's very pretty for embroidery, but if you want to get in a fight, you need something like, and he pulls down effectively the Buster Sword, it hits the ground. It is just a slab of metal that's kind of been angled towards the front.
Well, you see, typically it's not really my fashion for that such things, but I do have this, and he reaches to his back, clunk, comes out a heavy crossbow. I mean, this does the job pretty well.
That looks pretty good. I mean, there's a little too much of that flimsy wood stuff on there. I could get that replaced for you, though. I've got some ideas. We could get you a nice block of iron, really stabilize you so you don't, you look a little lightweight, like you might get pushed back. So if we give you a nice big mass to work off of, and he starts kind of selling you on the idea if we could upgrade your stuff,
If we could make this 50 pounds heavier, we're gonna do it.
We just bolt that on there.
Well, I think that sounds like a very interesting idea on how to put these things, but I like to keep the wood on it for now. It gives it a kind of old style fashion. And the blade itself, I mean, family heirloom, can't really get rid of it. It's all too like that. But I was mainly here for some crossbow bolts if you have some in stock.
Oh, yeah, we could do that. I mean, even my apprentices can sharpen a stick. And so he goes and he pulls out, some crossbow bolts, and they are just metal with a pointy end on it.
I mean, that looks like it will work wonders for this.
Oh yeah, we do good work here.
He will pay the appropriate amount for some crossbow bolts of the heavy variety.
He sells
Heavy.
heavy crossbow bolts. And you kind of take a look at them, and they were obviously made from poor quality slag. So the benefit of them being all metal is kind of lost in the fact that this isn't like high quality steel or anything like that. Yeah, absolutely. Crossbow bolts acquired. Please deduct the appropriate amount. Now, are you sure we can't do anything about that, glorified sewing needle you're carrying about?
Probably not today, unfortunately. But we are kind of new to town. So I'm like all fans of getting all the new information about a place before I enter, and you seem like the most wonderful gentleman to talk to. I mean, look at you, you're kissed by fire.
All the time. That's why I don't grow right here. And you can see he's got the big mutton chops, but his lips and kind of the beard right there. Bear, mustache is good there, so he possibly has been kissed by fire of late. So Olim, kind of sends you on your way. Now, when you come back, ask about the max. It's a mace. It's an axe. It's the max.
I think I know someone who'd be very interested in that.
Sounds intriguing.
And, you know what? Blitz, you had some tool proficiencies in there. Is blacksmithing, metallurgy in amongst them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So you notice that the armor, the wares, the things in here, politely said, compared to what you are accustomed to, this stuff is decades, if not centuries, out of date. Like 300 years ago, this might have been cutting edge, but it's just pile more metal on. Who needs pads when you've got muscles kind of stuff. The articulation's not there. It's just, one slab the whole way through. But aside from that, it seems well forged. Like, it's kind of a no-nonsense, I'm going to hang a slab of metal in front of my body. It does a nice job defending it. So, Olim's not bad at what he does.
The bolts are okay, though?
The bolts...
I think he probably wouldn't go out of his way to offend the guy, but if the bolts were of subpar quality, he might mention it just so that his friend doesn't get ripped off.
Not of subpar quality, so much as cheap iron has been used in place of wood. So the iron that you would have had to reheat, whatever it is that you do to iron. My brain failed me there. That's kind of been used there. Scraps of stuff. Maybe at some point it was. Part of a spring, part of an axle, part of, some other piece of metal that's been kind of partially smelted down and then turned into these bolts. All right, and with that, Blitz, Tahir, anything else? So back at the tavern, it's gotten a little later in the afternoon. Towards evening, so as you start to head over, you can see Dahrian's in there, and a couple of other folks have started to make their way over to the tavern. As they're headed over there, they're sort of giving you that, are you supposed to be here, and are you a person sort of look, Blitz, and to hear you're also a little bit unusual looking for the area, so they're sort of eyeing you up there, but as you get close, they're like, okay, all right, we're going the same place. They don't hold the door open for you, but they also don't hold it closed against you. Once you're all inside, things seem to be picking up. Melker is sort of smiling. It's like I'm smiling, but I'm also still holding my teeth in with my lips, kind of situation. Another servant has shown up. A fairly attractive young woman is moving about, serving beers, kind of making goo spend money eyes at Andry. And what's everybody doing in here as you get back together?
Is there any way to determine if the stone teeth serve some specific function, or is that just the only dentures he could find?
How about a medicine check as you?
Any benefit to it?
Yeah, how about a medicine check as you sort of check that one out? So as you're sort of like looking and you sort of see him, kind of moving about and doing stuff. They really look like stone teeth. Like they look more and more as you study it like his teeth are actually made of stone.
Oh, as opposed to dentures. Like
as opposed to dentures, like you're kind of watching it.
Oh.
He's treating them a lot like dentures, so there must be something going on with them. But they look like like when you're like, I'm gonna look and see if I can see a molar. You see a stone molar there. You don't see like a band of stone. You see individual teeth, like teeth. Some of them are a little bit crooked, like they look like somebody's teeth.
But stone.
But stone.
Hey, Blitz. It's not nice to stare.
I'm sorry, I can't blink.
I mean, he did pull that one on you, I'm just saying.
We were trying to figure it out too.
Anyways, Dahrian, have you ever heard of a max?
A max?
A max. It's combining a mace with an axe, so you get the max.
I have never heard of such a thing.
I mean, if you ask me, you can turn your game up totally to 11.
How would you even do that?
I have no idea.
Be difficult knowing which side to hit somebody with.
Depends if you want to kill them or knock them out.
The recap of events. This Cornelius, everybody, appears to be in a pretty bad way. I mean, the guy is not all there. We're going back tomorrow to check out at noon to see, I guess, more of get a better assessment of how long it's going to take them to get their paperwork in order. So it's possible we could be here a few days.
That's good. I paid for rooms for a couple of days.
Good.
Tann probably would have slipped over when the barmaid and Melkor weren't looking. Probably slipped over some gold to you to help kind of balance like the cost out, just to like help out. But yeah, you guys
Is that
have
a
rooms.
tip?
No, it's just to help out.
Oh, it's fine.
Oh, you're too good to us, man.
Yeah, it's only money.
That's fair. So, any idea how many days, or were they just kind of like?
I
Time.
mean, if it were me, I would bang it out in probably a solid 30 minutes flat. But boy, this guy is slow. I mean, he is up there in age, and as Dahrian said, not all up there. So it'd be very difficult to figure out.
I guess it's probably not going to be him who's going to be doing this. They're gonna. He
Uh,
seemed to have some acolytes, some underlings or whatever, and they, I'm sure, will assist him. But
Why haven't
Could
they
be a
done it
week.
before then?
she didn't elaborate.
Maybe
If I
it's
may
like
say, they
Oh.
seem very unorganized.
Yes, I would agree with that.
maybe it's
So
like a
Malcolm,
bureaucracy thing.
What do you guys do for fun in this town?
Well, we drink, we work, we dance a bit, and as he's sort of like he's like thinking about like what do we do for fun here, kind of a little bit of a rough-looking individual. He's got a bit of straw hay in his hair. He smells a bit of horses. He gets a little closer to Andry, kind of gives him the little nudge there. He says, "Drinking contest. You, me. Let's go. Oh, your horse is fine, by the way. You owe me one. Come on, buddy. You, me. What do you say?"
Okay.
And this dude is maybe 4'5", 75 pounds, soaking wet. Probably human, but maybe a little bit of the smaller folk mixed in there. Maybe not quite as big as your leg, but he's like, all right, yeah. I'll accept your challenge. Yeah. What are the stakes?
Wasn't it your challenge?
What, you think I'm gonna challenge you? You'd have to be crazy. No. But I'll do it. I'm no coward. I'll drink. Yeah.
This guy's funny.
Tahir is gonna lean over to Tann and say, "My money's on a little dude."
Take it easy on him, Andry. He's the one guarding my horse.
Well, if he gets drunk, that's on him.
It's like all right. So, what you drink? You just gonna keep on with that beer stuff? We'll be full before we're drunk.
What'd you have in mind?
Top shelf. Let's go top shelf.
All right.
And Melkor's like, only have one shelf. Goes over, he gets the drink off the one shelf. He pours it. He's like, there you go, guys.
If you're 4'5", it's all the top shelf. Right?
It's all so high up there. So
Tahir, as they're gonna start, is gonna start like doing like the bup, trying to get like the whole like crowd riled up at this drink contest of the very large man versus the very petite individual. Trying to get the whoever's in here ready to go to watch this contest happen.
yeah, and
I'll
as
help out. Give a little hoof stomp, alternating between.
and as you're doing that, as you kind of drumming it up, Beldar he kind of gets up, arms up in the air, like kind of doing the little dance, kind of bob, dance, and then he just like tosses the glass up, catches it, gulps, and then poof, down, slam. And as he does this little, we're gonna use the word performance here. He seems like he's done this thing before. Andry, you may, attempt to impress simply by guzzling copious quantities, Constitution, adding a little flair, performance, or something else. Maybe you don't drink it, just pour it, discreetly down your collar there with a little sleight of hand. What are you thinking?
Andry's gonna grab 2 cups
Aha.
and drink them at the same time.
Airing our wheat today?
I feel Constitution seems like the right thing to go with. Or
Saving
athletics?
throw or check.
You're I'm fishing for what you're thinking here. Is this like you put them both in your mouth, like you're doing the walrus kind of thing, and like
Yeah.
Okay. Don't let me encourage you, but I'm encouraging you. So let's see it. Hey, Casey. Hey, Casey. Hi, Road Killer. I should read your name instead of my name. Thanks for checking in. I think maybe the strength of this surprises you a little bit. It's not that you don't drink it. It's just that he like tossed it back and caught it and ta-da! And you were like, maybe you haven't done that trick before. Little fella's like, all right. I see that you tried. It was a good effort. Good effort. You want to try again? Huh? Because I definitely
You only
won.
had one. I had two.
Yeah, but I had one with style, man. Style. Hey, you want me to have? No. Okay. Give me another one.
I think
Give me another
Andry
one.
is winning.
Give me another one.
I think I have to agree with our academic friend here. Last I checked, 2 is more than 1.
Okay. So he gets another. He's like, bam. Just kind of drops it down. He's like, there. And this one's a Constitution check. He's like, huh?
You okay? I don't want to hurt you, so if you want to stop, we can.
I think someone was using that cup as a spittoon.
Oh,
No, don't want that. Ooh.
here I
that's
thought it was
wrong.
acid reflex.
Nope, just tasted a
That's
little
sanitary.
chaw-y,
Ugh.
but that's still 2.
I mean,
Call it,
Andry, he matched you. You gotta one up him.
call it even. But you want to go more?
We can go another one.
Yeah. Pours happen. Militia, the serving woman sort of brings it out and sets it down. She's like, "Careful, he wants to pass out." Just
Oh.
You-
Well, then let's drink.
and she sort of kind of ambles over to Dahrian, Tann, Tahir, Blitz, said, like, "Is your friend gonna be okay? That's Beldar. Like, you know how people get nicknames? We call him the Sodden because this is all he wants to do. Like, he's a big fella. I'm not real worried about your friend, like, dying or anything, but does he understand what he's getting into?" And she's sort of like,
He has an experienced liver.
"Okay, all right, well,
His filtration system is top notch.
as long
Is
as
it though? Is it?
all right, well, while they're doing whatever destructiveness they've got going on, can I get you all anything? Maybe some food?
Yes.
All right, well, and she goes back and checks. She comes back out. All right, looks like they caught a nice couple of rabbits. We've got some snake if you're interested in that sort of thing, and then we've got a little fish, and then of course we've got a little bit of stew, which is basically all those things from a day or so ago. What would you like?"
I'll go for the
Rabbits for
snake.
me.
And she takes the orders and gets you set up, and then she sort of looks at you all, looks at Blitz, looks at you all. They're sort of treating you like a person, so I'm going to assume you are, but do you eat? She says to Blitz.
Thank you.
You're-
I think.
We'll let's say Andry there, our big fella.
Uh-huh.
He will eat Blitz's limbs. So bring a plate for everyone.
Yes, please.
All right. So she goes, she gets the food, she doles out the food, she gets you set up with the wines or beers of choice. Everybody kind of gets a chance to settle in. Now at this point, Beldar has been just basically hamming it up so you'll keep buying him drinks, Andry. So he's obviously not going to win this fight, but he's planning on, dying on his feet, and then falling over. He's I bet you can't drink with your mouth closed.
I will try.
So Belder's like, no, that was my one party trick left. So he does try and snort his drink. So you see him, he just holds one nose, he kind of tries to snuck it back. It could be done. He's going to try and win it because all other things have failed him. On this one, it is going to be on the performance check again because this is a acquired skill. Oh, he's good at it. He knows what he's doing.
Oh.
Have you ever intentionally tried to drink through your nose before Andry?
No, but I just saw him do it, so I'm going to try to do the same thing.
Okay.
Performance?
I would say performance.
Oh.
We do have rerolls.
There are party rerolls. You got 6 party rerolls if you want to apply one to the drinking contest.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
Use the other nostril.
In one.
Oh, no! Now he's got.
I'm sorry for the suggestion.
You try to use the other nostril, that goes disastrously wrong. So you end up kind of spraying first. Belder's like, I win! And down. So possibly a Pyrrhic victory. After a short while, one of the people kind of grabs him and drags him out of the inn, and you can hear him going around towards the stable, and then a door and a thump and a door. As they are dragging him, they seem to take no care that they're grabbing him by the back of the shirt and dragging him on his face as he's going around there. So a little bit of a rough treatment there for him.
Man, does this mean I win or you win?
Well, could be anybody.
If I understand the rules correctly, the small man won by smelling the alcohol through his nose.
I think that would be a very astute observation. Honestly, I am just flabbergasted by the entire scene.
These are things that have happened.
Andry learned that you shouldn't drink through your nose.
It's an important lesson that all adventurers should learn. Now, as you are learning that lesson, time is passing. Some of the townsfolk have come in, eat their meals, and gone out. Vast majority human. There's a couple of folks that you're like, I don't think you're actually a halfling, but there's probably some halfling in your family. You know, maybe a little gnome, you know, some generations back. Very rarely just like a little sign of elf, but vast majority human here, except for a fella who comes in. He looks fairly well dressed. Everybody else has been fairly common attire. This is the raiment of a merchant or something along those lines. It's not silks, but it's probably decent linen. As he comes in, you can see he's got long sleeves. He's wearing gloves, and he's got something wrong with the shape of his face compared to the other humans that have been about. His cheekbones are just sort of pointy and flat at the same time. His skin's got a little bit of a striation or a pattern to it. You would be reminded of lizard folk, dragonborn, that sort of stuff. If you've encountered the Yuan-Ti, possibly that sort of thing. He's got some dragon, serpent, lizard to him, and the mix didn't go great. You know, sometimes it mixes well, sometimes not so good. So it's just all wrongs in a little bit of the place. You know, the places where he has hair and doesn't have hair don't quite work. But he sits down. Militia excuses herself from the group to, go deliver food. She's obviously in this for the tips, so she's coming back over to your group, making sure glasses are refilled, offering you treats, desserts. I could run and get something baked from the, I have some treats put aside, that sort of stuff. Basically anything to keep L gold bags over there throwing the coins around. Any interest in the new fellow arriving, or what's the party up to as we get into the later part of the evening? You've probably all eaten. It's now kind of relaxing. 2 hearths in here, so it's nice and warm. No chill mountain air, but not a lot of entertainment. Other than you.
I will ask Militia when she comes, one of the times when she comes over to the table or whatever, bringing a round of drinks. I'll give her a little extra tip, I guess, and kind of nod to him and ask her, "Who's that? He appears to be a little different than the rest. Is he an outsider as well?"
Oh, that's Aphris. That's actually Avarkus's son, the Lord of the Manor. So, mind how polite you are. He's an important man in his own right, and don't obviously mention. And she gestures very subtly, like making sure he's not looking like that. He's had it since he was born. It's a bit of a sore point in the family, casting a little doubt on the whole family lineage thing. Scandal.
Sure. And the would you say the Avarkus family, right? Is that the like the local lord? Is that what I was gathering, Casey?
Oh, yes. And so she says, brain key numbers. Thank you. Oh, yes. I mean, the Lord of the Manor House, sort of the are you familiar with a mayor?
Sure.
Okay, yes. So the mayor of the town is Avarkus. He's in charge here. He's the lord of the town. And that's his son. So someday, maybe, if, that doesn't prove to be too much of an issue,
He'll take over.
quite possibly. Now there's a little bit of a, argument there. And could I get I would say either an investigation or an insight or a persuasion to see how well you can keep her talking. You did bribe her enough to get this information, but now she's into the, oh, maybe I should quiet down now kind of point.
Insight.
Oh, all over it. So you're like, no, there's got to be a little more to that. She's like, well, since there's that whole question about lineage thing, there's always been the rumor that maybe Avarkus isn't the father. The mother's pretty obvious, but the father, you can, have some questions there.
Sure.
So far, that hasn't really come up, but, if someone were to challenge Aphris, there'd be some grounds that maybe he's not the legitimate heir. Now, this is just scuttlebutt about town. It's, what we do to entertain ourselves. There's no real reason to think that there would be a problem. I mean, you're not here on their behalf, are you? And she starts kind of prying for information from you. Why are you here?
We're from Mitra. We were speaking with the prefect, Cornelius.
Oh. Just
We're errand boys.
Pretty much. That's
Some way of putting it.
pretty much right. He was
I mean, that's
late on his reports, I guess.
that's just disappointing to hear. I mean, you look like such strong, brave adventurers. They have you fetching paperwork?
Oh, shucks, you're too nice. But what we can tell you is on the way here, we saw some, like, crazy stuff, and he's gonna start, like, kind of trying to, like, throw in some, like, stories about, like, the dust mephits and stuff, and, like, the scorpions that they saw on the way here, and just kind of lighten it up from,
Oh,
I guess, the heavy scandal talk a minute ago.
sure. And as you kind of do that, are you just going for lightening the mood? Are you looking for just spice things up a little bit, or is there anything that you're leading towards on that?
I'd say mainly to lighten the mood, but I guess if it, like, I have nothing right now I can think of that I want to ask, but
Okay.
like, if it helps warm things up for, like, a later conversation, like, I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Just give me, let's call it just a persuasion or a charisma. Just to keep on Militia's good side.
Okay.
To have a friend. The one who empties
15.
your chamber pots doesn't mind doing so. Such things. But as you sort of all kind of settling in, anybody else doing anything of note?
Can I get Militia to go get him a drink? I want to buy him a drink.
Andry, how about we use my gold this time? And he'll slide over the appropriate coin. Because I had the exact same idea you did.
Oh.
Okay.
So as you say, can we buy him a drink? Well, it's just like, of course. I don't know if you've realized, but I am very happy to take money from you. If you have any money you want to give me, you just go right ahead, and I will get you whatever you need.
I think he's paying this time.
Oh, okay. And she heads over to Tahir. Tahir, you pay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You pay, and would you like me to introduce you? I mean, he's actually not a hard person to talk to.
Just say some travelers decided to do a nice courtesy.
Sure.
I thought maybe we could talk to the guy.
Well, that's the lead into it, because then he'll want to talk to these nice travelers who bought him a drink. It's all part of the performance.
So
Okay.
Militia's like, I got you. So she takes over, she delivers the drink. There's kind of a little conversation there. She sort of like gestures over in your direction. Afris is kind of raises the drink, takes a sip. He finishes up his food, and you go through the is it appropriate time, and then eventually that gets cleared away, and then he sort of gestures you over. Tahir, you sort of did the thing, and he's sort of like, come on over.
I believe that's my cue. Andry, you want to come with?
Absolutely.
Anyone else?
I'll tag along.
Blitz?
Yeah, go
Dahrian?
ahead and stand awkwardly in the back of your conversation.
Sure. So as you head over there, and he sort of says, "Oh, I hadn't realized there were so many of you, or I would have gotten a bigger table. Have a seat." And there's a little trouble in there somewhere. He's got a little lisp, something going on. Some of the teeth, the tongue, not quite all right. For a human. If we're talking about comparing him to some of you all, he's probably built real well. So, as you come over, and he sort of says, "You're obviously new in town. I am Afris. I run the trade monopoly next door. Is there something I can get for you?"
I think immediately, I guess the pleasure of your company is a great start.
Oh, I thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I'm always interested in meeting new people and new opportunities. And thanks out there for the raid, folks. I just saw the scroll go by. Welcome. We're playing Dark Tower, getting ready for the original Adventures Reincarnated release by Goodman Games. And the party is currently in Mitra's Fist in the Overlord's Inn, talking with Merchant Afris. Afris, will you be staying in town long? Are there opportunities to employ you? You have the look of adventurers about you.
Yes. That sounds great. We can make some money while we're waiting for the prefect.
Ain't a bad idea.
There are many things that could use to be done. You look combative. Do I read you correctly? You seem to be mighty of thew. You certainly armored. I can tell you're wearing chain, and you seem equipped. Tann, as he sort of gestures towards you, sort of like, I would imagine magic, based on the company you keep.
Man, you got a really good eye.
Thank you. I've honed it over the years.
He'll even do like a little, like, kind of little cantripy. I don't remember if I had prestidigitation or not, but he'll do like a little, like, woo, like to kind of emphasize the magic.
Splendid, splendid. There are troubles in the area. The caravans move past our town, and I think if we were to offer some service, we could lure them back. We could gain their business once more. There are some hobgoblins that have taken residence further to the west. If we could eliminate that threat and show proof of it, that it was our town that had done so, we would gain in reputation and honor. I would gain in reputation. Is that something that would appeal to you?
Have these hobgoblins been unlawful?
They've been assaulting caravans. You must have heard how dangerous Red Moon Pass is. There are... Go ahead.
We've actually experienced it. I believe they are the ones who also tried to intercept our own caravan not so long ago.
You did. So a couple of days back, a group of hobgoblins did assault the caravan, and you did an excellent job charging up, disrupting, and sort of throwing back their assault. But this makes it seem like there's an organization to them. There's more than just a band attacking. They have established a stronghold or some sort where they may be able to raid the town, and that's what Afris is sort of inquiring if you'd be interested in engaging.
Do you have any idea on numbers?
I do not, other than that they have grown brave enough to attack caravans. That hints at a sizable war band. They've been able to sustain losses and strike back. I would think, in total, there may be hundreds, but they would not all be in the same place at the same time. It would take someone of skill to strike at their home, strike at their base, or eliminate them in such a way as to prevent them from becoming a horde against you. You seem skilled in such things, but I do not wish to put you in danger. If that is too much for you, simply let me know.
Well, I will give you the forewarning that we may not even be able to accept it, depending on our current situation. We're actually sent by the Church of Mitra to go over some paperwork issues with the church up north. So we're waiting on feedback from the prefect on those matters.
Church of Mitra. Sort of shakes his head. They have a temple here. Doddering old Cornelius says he looks over this town, but all they do is ask for paperwork. Where's Mitra's heroes? There's nothing here. Mitra has abandoned this place. No. Pray to other gods. Mitra is not here. But if you are of Mitra and you wish to ignore the plight of these people, as other Mitrans have, it's fine.
Tann is looking like he kind of like wants to take up like that little like kind of thrill-seeking part of him is just kind of like, oh, that does sound interesting, but they are there for a job. Maybe he'll, well, since we don't know what we could do right now, maybe we could like take a rain check and see like, because we really don't know how long we're going to be here for, so if we can get some more information on that end, that'll help us make an easier decision on your end. And then hopefully we can be helpful on both fronts.
Well,
Is that the only thing that needed handling?
that is the most pressing thing. If it is beyond you, I'm sure I could find some lesser tasks to occupy your time, but I do not know that I could offer you pay that looks reasonable to your obvious skills. It's rare to see such fine and articulated examples of armor here, and such obvious displays of magic. And he sort of gestures over to Blitz and Bowser, which are just radiating, hey, I am shiny in magic. I could, of course, offer you to clean drains and gather things, but I would not be able to pay even as much as you have already spent drinking this evening. Such things can be done by anyone. What I have need to pay for is for heroes.
How far would we need to travel to find these hobgoblins?
I have some information available to me. Let me fetch that for you, and those who have done a little bit of exploring in that direction. I'm a merchant myself. I do not frequently go pursuing hobgoblin war camps, but I'd be happy to share what information I have. Could I have an hour, and I will fetch them for you?
Certainly.
So as he spends his hour fetching, what I'm going to ask for is our 5-minute break, as we sort of have now picked the path that we're going to go. I need to do a little bit of DM quick read and remind myself of what type of graveyard it is. I want to say it was the camel graveyard is what I'm going to be baiting you with in just a little bit. But could have been elephant. I don't remember. I'm not sure if Simba had a bad day there or if it's something even stranger. So I'm going to find that out. We're going to go on BRB. Everybody's going to get a chance to do their bio breaks and grab drinks. And we'll be back in just a little bit. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. 20 sides to every story. Getting invested in the Dark Temple, our official session 1. The party has made their way to the town of Mitra's Fist, running an errand for the Temple of Mitra to check in with Prefect Cornelius, who's getting a little old and having a little trouble with his paperwork. While they are doing that, they've been bouncing around to a couple of places in the town. They have met Afris, son of the Lord Mayor of the town. Afris is looking to improve his reputation and heal some of the trouble in the area. Some hobgoblins away to the west have been causing difficulties. Now, Afris has sort of, got the party to at least sit down and listen to some information. No agreements yet. And as that's happening, he sort of gets you all seated down. He calls over another of the townsfolk. This would be Gernstead. Gernstead, like, you've seen people with a forgettable face. This is that forgettable face. Like, he just doesn't express much. He's just kind of got the, like, not even a set expression. It's just a tofu kind of, going on there. His hair's kind of cut to a black bowl. It's got that just can't figure out where to fall look. You don't know if he's got, like, nice eyes or a nice nose. He's just there. But Afris, gets Gernstead over. Gernstead sits down with you and says, well, I was out exploring and, investigating the hobgoblins. We found that they are coming from the west over near Mount Vision. And he sort of lays out, on a little charcoal board, on a little slate board with charcoal. We are here. These are where the two passes are. To the west of the passes rises a small hill, and then beyond that a larger mountain, which is Mount Vision. Now, there used to be a shrine to Mitra many, many years ago, but that's fallen into disrepair. No one does the pilgrimages anymore, and there's said to be a camel bone yard. From what I understand, the camel bones, when you walk through, come up to your knee. It's a mystical place of sorts. Or it could be because there's some griffin nests in there and they just drop the bones when they're done. Either way, it's called the camel bone yard. The hobgoblins seem to have taken up residence there and are likely striking out. That gives them the ability to strike to the north or to the south of that smaller rise, catching folks and still having a fair defensibility. It's only been a few months since they've settled in, so if you are planning to drive them out, now would be the time before they really have fortifications set up. How they're managing with the griffins, I'm not sure, but with enough care and enough horses, even griffins can be kept at bay. And any of you who have any skills with monstrosities, that sort of thing, may know that a griffin is going to hunt a horse, like a boule hunts a halfling, favored foods. So that's a possibility. Now, I can point you in the right direction, but I've got no interest in going up against hobgoblins myself. I've got a town to defend, so if that'll be all. And when you're looking at Gernstead, it's like, are you done talking? Are you still talking? Are you asking? I get no read on this guy. Or maybe you do. So as he's making his presentation, what's going on? What's the party doing?
I was just, for the most part, I guess, trying to see if there was any fabrication and things that he was saying. I guess I would be wanting to see if he seemed to be embellishing anything.
Sure. Give me an insight check as you start to inquire into that. So you're going with is he lying? Let's kind of start from there.
Yeah. And is he leaving anything out, I guess, along with the lying?
Sure. Oh, you got a pretty good read. So he was maybe exaggerating, how close he got up there. But the information seems earnest. You know, the parts that he was embellishing on or leaving out seemed in line with somebody who's more concerned about their personal safety than about going into a place where griffins are and looking at hobgoblins. So maybe he didn't scout as much as he should have, but yeah, there's probably hobgoblins over there. He does not seem like an honest sort of person in general, but you have a little bit of trouble reading if that's because he lies or he's a coward and only, you know, making
Or
excuses
both.
for himself. Yeah, or that combination. He's definitely not a goodly person.
Right.
But where that line is, you're not entirely sure. And maybe it's the tofu face that's just a little bit troublesome for sorting that out. Okay. Tahir, Tann, Andry, Blitz, anything on your side?
Would we know if hobgoblins might ever be able to tame griffins? I don't know. Me personally, I don't know anything about that.
Oh, sure. So,
stuff,
so how about a let's call that one a history check. So, Blitz, as you're sort of thinking that one through, there have been a number of military societies that have managed to tame griffins. It is a thing you can do. But you know it takes time. Griffins can't really be tamed once they're grown. They have to be sort of tamed from the egg. So if they've only been there a couple of months, that's probably not likely. But you can sort of steer griffins in the direction you want them to go. So, you know, if you send a horse in that direction, griffins are going to go after that horse. If there's more horses there, congratulations, you just let a griffin charge against your enemies. So you've heard of that sort of tactic as well. And you present that to the party in the method of your choosing.
I'm curious of maybe recent movements. It sounds like they have a good idea where they might be kind of centrally located, but do they have any idea of maybe where these particular bands might enjoy focusing on the most? I'm guessing it sounds like the caravans, because I mean that's where they attacked us, and I think they mentioned that. But do they have is there a particular area that they seem to favor the most versus others?
So you'll ask them questions about that. And Gernstead and Afris will, try and respond. I think maybe an investigation would be what we're looking for here to take some puzzle pieces and start putting them together.
Oh, that's bad. Okay. Sounds good. Let's see.
So a 7 is very low. A 19 is high. There are 5-player rerolls if you do want to try again.
It's not my best skill, but I kind of want to try again.
Okay.
If no one's opposed to it, I'll give it a try. All right, cool. Sorry if I blow it. All right, didn't blow it.
16's not bad at all. So as you start kind of plugging those pieces together, and you remember what you encountered with the hobgoblins before, they broke and ran fairly quickly. Now, you guys are a surprising amount of firepower. But as you're like, well, if they have, 2 spots that they can attack at, and they saw a caravan coming in, and then they ran away, and they know where the caravan's going, ooh, your friends may be about to be whomped by the large force because you dealt with the scouting force. If you want to call, that caravan friends. But that caravan may be in for a bad day or maybe having a bad day right now. Tahir, Andry?
Well, I'm not really one to ask this question. Typically, I thought Ancho would get to this beforehand. I mean, all in all, this is a sort of business transaction. So, what are we talking about in terms of compensation of sorts.
Oh, compensation will depend a great deal on what you're able to accomplish. Now, you of course have right of looting privileges. Anything that they have acquired, no matter how ill-gotten, would be yours by right. Along with that, we would certainly want to encourage you to take on this job. I was thinking in the neighborhood of 500 gold pieces for the lot of you upon success. Now, of course, you would have the favor of the town, so I would also offer you a 50% discount. 50% discount on any purchases you would make through my store.
Wait, is there anything in your store that we'd want?
I can acquire a great many things. What might you have an interest in?
I don't know.
Well, as an example, I supply the beer for this fine establishment that they don't brew themselves. The wine, the whiskey. You seem like a fellow that would enjoy having several barrels.
I'm in.
Or do you prefer skins? Casks?
As long as
Flasks?
I can carry it.
Bottle? All these things. And while I do not personally deal in them, if you have interest in other, I can make arrangements.
Duly
And-
noted.
Are you in the market for purchasing items? Let's say we do this job. They have any number of things that we don't need but have value that you could turn around and sell. Would you
I
be
would be
willing to purchase those things from us?
I would be delighted to, but I could only offer you a fair market cost or price for those things, as I would have to transport them. We have little need for the supplies of a warband here in our town. Reasonable goods, of course. We have no need for hundreds of sharpened sticks.
Sure, sure.
And so Avarice offered you, kind of lays out on the map. Now, Tann, you had got a chance to put together that there may be some threat outstanding. As that comes up and the conversation steers, anything of note, we'll say it's now getting to late evening by the time that's all kind of bounced around. Most of the townsfolk have retired back to home. They came to eat, and then they went. Somewhere out in the stables, Beldar is snoring. That's enough to come in even over the sound of the forge to the north, and that's starting to quiet down as well as sort of the town begins to wrap. What's everybody up to?
I know Tann would probably share the kind of 2 and 2 that he put together, that there is probably going to be more of an issue for like the people that they ran into.
Mhm.
And even though if we don't know how long it might take for the paperwork, based on what like Daw and everyone else has said, I think maybe he would be interested just to go and like check out the situation, if anything, for a bit of excitement, since the town does seem pretty quiet, and maybe lessen the chance for some dude to steal our stuff.
Oh, so you want to go now?
Oh,
I mean,
or later, or later. Later works too.
I mean, you also could go now.
Just because if that happened then, and then we walked X amount of hours and then got here, broke off, it's been Y amount of hours since they left, and at the walking speed of he's just like spouting random nonsense.
Don't forget to take a derivative.
He knows what he's doing, but he's like, it might be cutting it close, and I mean they weren't the friendliest bunch, but they did help us out a little bit. I don't know. It's up to you guys.
So as you're like doing all that math, Aphris is like looking at you and like looks down at like the map that you'd laid out and kind of done some sort of measurements on, and then he just sort of like puts his fingers down and does like walkies across the map, showing that if you take the western slope and then you take the path through town, it's roughly the same distance when you come back together up here. And then he sort of like gives a little like hint circle, like this would be where the place is, so you could 3-4 hours of hard riding catch up to where they are probably camped for the night, if they are camped for the night up there. So you can keep going forward and meet them at the pass.
Mm.
Cut them off at the pass. Even cooler.
That would be pretty cool.
And Aphris is like, this would encourage you to deal with the hobgoblins, and your associates were at risk. Then you may wish to hasten to them.
I think it's just a very exciting time. I'm gonna leave it up to my buddies for if we're actually gonna go, but it just sounds like it could be. It just sounds like it could be a bit of fun. That lessens the intensity of the situation. I'm not trying to downplay it. It is genuinely frightening, and they are very murderous. But I also it is kind of exciting.
Honestly, I'm still bored just sitting here, and he's like has a dart in his hand. He's just flicking it back and forth on his finger. Honestly, we can go right now if we wanted to, but Dahrian, I know there's an issue with the whole light situation with you being you.
With me being me.
It's like the lack of seeing in the dark is a bit of an issue.
Saloon has that covered. Let's see.
You're kidding. Really?
That explains why you don't trip in the middle of the night.
You are so full of tricks.
Saloon grants me the ability to see in
I'm
low
the
light.
one that can't see in the dark.
Andry?
Wait, you can't see? I thought you just powered through the boulders because you were bored.
Yeah, a little bit.
So like as you're sort of like talking that over, Militia sort of like checks in with you all, like you're not gonna try and ride out of town right now, right?
Well, that depends. Do you have a horse that can hold me?
Well, I'm sure we could find a horse to hold you, but you just drank a lot. Are you gonna be okay in an hour?
Has the horse been drinking?
Let's find out if you're gonna be okay in an hour, Andry. Andry, I believe that we ended up somewhere around 7 effective shots as we did our little drinking contest. Now, Beldrin is just flat. He's gone. But you were also drinking sociably along with that. I feel like maybe a Constitution saving throw at 10 plus number of shots seems like a reasonable request versus a level of exhaustion here. So that's kind of the risk I'm thinking. How about a powerhouse?
Our boy is fine.
You are indeed fine.
He has 5 more, and then he's still okay.
Andry, if you need a nap, you always hop on the disc.
There is that. And so, it's late. It's dark. Sun has set. It's got that little, it's a little crispy up here. A little chill. We've got the desert that's cooling off, quite quickly down below. We're a little higher up in the mountains, so you've got a lot of heat moving around. There's a lot of wind outside. It's the party setting off into the darkness, riding north through Red Moon Pass to potentially prevent an ambush, potentially prevent a potential ambush. Or are we settling in for the evening? What's the plan there?
I can write on your disc. That way I don't have to look.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
All right.
And he's going to pull out his book. Boof. And then 11 minutes later or so, magic disc appears. It would be of the floating variety, if we must know.
Oh. Would it be
Hop on, big guy.
the tensor's floating variety?
Some may say so, some may not do the professional name of it, and some may just call it the floating disc.
Ah. It's like referring to it as Xerox instead of as a facsimile. I see.
Kleenex.
Phoenix. Excellent.
Can you
So
imagine if people did that with Kirkland? They'd just be like, hey, can you pass the Kirkland? They're like, can you be more specific?
He passed the jam.
As the party heads out, I think what I'm going to need to ask for is a couple of checks here. So whoever is in charge of guiding us through the pass, whoever is saying this is the right direction to go, not a game trail, I will need a survival check from. Whoever is making sure that you are not ambushed by hobgoblins, I will need a perception check from. And then anybody else can do other stuff. Stealth checks to keep you quiet, investigation checks to look for clues, animal handling to deal with your mounts, and so on. Nature if you're looking for, what's going on in the natural world. So feel free to talk amongst yourselves and divvy up some responsibilities, and then let me know who's doing what as we gallop into the night. And run into night for those of you not galloping.
I can certainly help with the stealth checks.
Okay.
Well, not my best skill. It's thanks to my boots.
Ooh.
I make less clippity cloppity sounds and maybe can give some input from my dark past as a smuggler. So I could probably help out with that.
Survival
like
and
it.
perception, both of them, I'm pretty good at. So
Okay.
I like the
Pretty
sound
good
of looking
with
for
animals.
clues.
Sure. Investigation over there. Andry, you're a little faint. Check is your mic in the right spot?
I'm pretty good with animals.
Okay. Sounds good. So I think I've heard what everybody'd like to do. Go ahead and hit some buttons. We want to see high numbers, not particularly low numbers.
you
In
want
case
the
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, did you want the survival or perception from me?
Your choice.
Okay.
I was curious because with the Boots of Elvenkind, it
Ooh.
normally gives me advantage, but since we're working as a group, should it just be like a straight roll?
Nope. Advantage works. Yep. You get
Okay.
your advantage.
Now
Do it-
I rolled a 1 on that. Should I re-roll,
Yeah,
everyone?
yeah.
I think this would be an
Go for
important one to reroll.
All right, down to
Never want to
3.
roll a 1 on a survival check.
Tann, are you? No, you've got advantage. You're at a 21. Okay.
Mhm.
Good. All right, everybody's brought that one up nicely. So as you move through the darkness, making your way along, it's only 2 hours or so before you start to notice something else is approaching you. A fairly large contingent is making its way on the roadway towards you. Thankfully, sharp eyes catch that it is 6 wagons being pulled along by a half dozen horses. You do recognize Morim's caravan is making its way towards you, but it is significantly reduced. The number of horses has been cut in half, and a number of people are limping as they come up to you. As you get a bit closer, you can hear someone call out a little bit forward, so you're not quite up to them, but off to the side of the road. A scout or a forward says, "Who the hell are you all?" And you recognize your good friend Speartongue as he berates into the darkness. You're pretty sneaky, so they don't know who you are yet. How do you announce yourselves, or do you announce yourselves?
We are friends.
Well, that's one hell of an introduction, wouldn't you say?
Missed you too, man.
Oh,
We hit him
it's
with the chromatic greeting.
Yeah.
And as he's sort of like, "Well, what are you doing out here? I thought you were heading back from Mitra's. You're not with them, are you?" And you can hear, like, kind of him settling in, going on edge.
Who?
Them whom?
Yeah, who?
The ones who set up that ambush, the hobgoblins.
Now
No,
that
wait,
we're
you were with us against. Sorry, I took a couple to the head.
Do you need a? He's gonna kind of shuffle a little closer, give him a little gentle boop on the top of the head, and do a little healing word, just to give him, will help with that headache a little bit.
I mean, that really healed my head, but it hurt my ego a lot to be booped like that. I don't know if I'm gonna recover.
I thought it was adorable.
That's not really the image that I'm going for, you butthead.
It's a good thing you were scouting ahead and they didn't see it. Oh, hey guys.
And like everybody's behind them going, "Duh." He's like, I'm dead.
I think Speartongue's more accustomed to being beeped.
He just said booped.
So Moram rides forward. You can see his armor's taken a couple of dings recently. He's got a few things sticking out of him that probably shouldn't be. And he says, it's good to see you all. We were hoping to make our way back to Mitra's Fist. We were assaulted by more of those hobgoblins. Some of them controlling griffins. We had very little defense against them, so we had to set several of our horses to escape. So we'll make our way back, hopefully rest up and recover at Mitra's Fist, and then when we're not at the disadvantage of darkness, make a run for the Northlands. I wouldn't advise going north from here.
Well, here's just the thing about that. We are going north, because we're going to go deal with the issue.
You're going to go deal with an army of hobgoblins on griffins.
The
You
griffin
not?
part is a bit of a surprise, not gonna lie. But yeah.
Could you perhaps show us where they are, since you've just come from them?
Well, they assaulted us from the west and southwest. They seem to be flying to and from that direction, but I didn't really have time to see. There was no sign of an encampment. It seemed more like a strike or attack force. And he sort of gives you information that matches up with what you've heard before. They are probably on the far side of the hill. They would have dispatched a larger force to catch up, and strike. So they are probably within a half day's travel of the route, over more difficult terrain than certainly wagons could do. But if you have access to griffins, or if you happen to be a hobgoblin on foot, certainly coverable. So confirmed in the right direction. My god does not prohibit foolishness, so I will not stop you if you choose to go now. But I would caution you that assaulting hobgoblins that can fly during the night seems very, very foolish.
Therefore, they
say-
wouldn't expect it.
Oh, that's a good point.
I sense no falsehood in that statement. And Morum, sort of, the blessings of the gods be upon you and carry you forward into the light. And then he sort of just shakes his head and starts, setting his horse forward. The others, as you go past, you can see they've taken some hurts, and you can see that Vishala, the cleric of Ishtar, she looks just exhausted. Tapped out, mana 0, spell slots all spent. And she's already doled out all the cookies. So she just kind of goes past. She gives you the little nod and blessing.
Just curious, in our first encounter with the hobgoblins, when we were with them, did they hold their own? I mean, how would they stack up, maybe against us? I mean,
so the hobgoblins that you went after just fell before you, like wheat before the scythe. But thinking back on it, they may have been running from you intentionally. Like, you only caught the slow, dumb ones. And that may have been part of the plan. So, you would say, hobgoblins are tough. Hobgoblins on griffins are certainly much tougher.
but I mean, like the other caravan folk, were they?
Oh,
how do we?
Oh, so the caravan folk
gauge them versus us.
Gauge them
I'm just
versus
wondering.
us. Probably half of you. So if we're thinking in terms, you're level 7s, they're probably level 4s-ishes. Ishes.
Yeah. With a bunch of
You're
counters.
not getting scared, are you, metal man?
Simply running some calculations.
Make some calculations. And
No,
so,
I do have.
Mhm.
I do have. I guess I have a question. I can ask it in character, or otherwise. But being a Warforged or whatever, can you can be healed, right? I mean, with normal healing. Okay.
Yeah, and also repairs, I believe.
Okay.
If you haven't.
Right.
Oh no,
I think
just
your
healing.
pet can
Okay.
be repaired.
The dog is repairable, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can mend the dog. You can't mend Warforged anymore. So that's, I believe that is.
okay.
I believe in 5e only healing spells on Warforged. I don't believe you can mending Warforged in 5e. We can double check that off screen. But
Okay,
healing
sure.
spells work just fine.
Mm.
And so, I think what I'm hearing is the party is continuing on towards the Camel's Graveyard. Yes?
Yes.
I think so. Yes.
See.
Could I get from the party one of those fateful D20s as you roam through the night? You would like to see higher than a 4, which means 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way up to 20. 4 or lower, you might not make it to the graveyard without some issues.
Do it, Daw. Do it.
A 13. You make your way through the mountains. It's not great terrain. It's scrubby grass. Everything around here seems to have thorns, seems to have briars, brambles, vines. It's all trying to hug the ground and really not let you go through. There's not so many cacti up here as there is down a little bit towards the closer desert, but everything seems to want to poke holes in you. As you make your way through the night and you find yourselves coming up on the area, do any of the party members have any experience with griffins or the like? Do any of you have any sort of knowledge background that would give you any sort of insight into that, other than just being reasonably good adventurers?
I think Andry is from, like, the mountainous areas, so maybe.
Okay. So, some of the things that we've talked about griffins, favorite food is horse. So if there is a horse available to pounce upon, griffins go after horses. If there's
Or
not,
half a horse.
well, there is a horse about. So just of note, horse.
Yeah.
Tann, gonna ask you an important question.
I did mention it earlier that I went for more of an ibex,
More of an
kind of
ibex.
antelope look.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on the scale of deliciousness, there's probably horse, maybe camel, and then ibex. So
Okay.
you're kind of like tier 3 food source, but you're probably priority amongst the party. So that's a thing that the party would be aware of. Other than that, griffins do fly. Griffins can fly with food, so they can pick people-sized things up and carry them with you, because they can be ridden by people-sized things. So those are things to be aware of. The party does have a fairly sizable number of vertically friendly magical items, so please make sure you're on your game there. And what you find is at the base of Mount Vision, so fairly sizable mountain, one of the obstructions that the Red Moon Pass goes around, there is a canyon. That canyon, even from a distance, you can smell that things have been rotting there. So this is probably at the base of the nests of the griffins. So griffins eat everything they can, hairball up what they can't, that cascades down, and we end up with what you see here, a sizable pile of bones near the canyon's entrance. The majority do seem to belong to camels, but camel bone graveyard filling the canyon, that's maybe a little bit fanciful exaggeration. And it's not all camels. You see goats, horses, couple of humanoid-looking bones scattered in there.
One thing that I would do, I guess, I want to continue on foot. I'll tether my horse or whatever, kind of at the tree line or something like that.
Sure.
Or, you know, when we get to this particular place, I definitely don't want to be
Sure. And your
riding
horse,
my horse.
Your horse is a war horse or a riding horse or a draft horse?
It is a riding horse.
Riding horse, okay. So it is not trained for combat, but it is smart enough to run away. It is trained to tether, so you do tether it, but if it does get attacked, it will run rather than fight.
I would expect nothing less.
Sure. Now, as you're all kind of looking over this pile of bones here, how about a quick maybe investigation check from whoever would like to be the first one to poke at the pile of bones? Hey, that's a pretty good investigation check. Somebody's done this. This isn't just a pile of bones. Somebody piled these bones up here. It's a little too much of a pile to have just fallen this way. They've taken a lot of the bones that are in the area, kind of gathered them up, mounded them up, because looking past it into the canyon, it doesn't go back very far. Certainly enough for anybody who kind of looks at it to go, full of bones. But you're thinking about going past there. Canyon extends west into kind of the mountains for several thousand feet. You can see that it's relatively free of debris after that bone pile. Looks to be mostly barren rock. The shrubbery and scrub doesn't get in there. The walls are quite high. It's probably from floor to canyon rim 1,000 feet or so, and fairly steep. Not a sheer drop, but certainly enough to be a concern if you don't have, the skill for climbing. There are a couple of cracks and crevices scattered about, and you can see moon shadow. Probably there's some caves or other indentations, but everything looks like a cave at the moment, because all you see is patches of darkness that maybe are, maybe aren't. What's the method of approach you might take? Do you come in cavern floor? Do you climb the mountain to come in at the rim? Are we sneaky? What are we thinking?
Does anyone see any sort of light out here? Because it's still pretty dark. I mean, maybe there's something that will give off a little shine. Maybe there,
Ooh,
which way would be the
Yeah.
right spot to look.
Is there
If there is a
something?
warband out here, they would probably need light, right?
Sure. So how about a perception check on that one?
Just because I threw out the idea doesn't mean I have to do it.
That's very true. Whoever would like to
Whoever may
volunteer
have a better
to be
perception
the
than
eyes for the
3.
group.
I can give it a shot.
Okay. So as you look around, you don't see any obvious light. So there's no torches posted, there's no campfires lit, nothing like that around. But as you're watching, you do see glints here and there. The moonlight, the starlight will just catch on something that's a little too shiny and happen to move in the right direction, but it's too far, too faint for you to really focus in on. It's not raining, there's no sound of water, so it's not water, but there is something metal moving about in there. So someone is carrying arrows, spears, wearing armor, has jewelry on, and is just getting that glint back to you. But it takes a while for you to even spot it, and when you do, you're kind of doing that, looking out the side of your eye trick to catch the brighter lights. So by the time you focus in on it, you know it was there somewhere. But yeah, something with metal on them is moving about in there.
Hushed tones or whatever.
Mhm.
We're all kind of huddled together. I say I see something kind of, something metal or whatever glinting in the moonlight. I say, gather around me, and I do a blessing of saloon on these guys, and everybody has dark vision up to 300 feet.
Very nice.
300 feet?
300
Wow.
feet.
Damn. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
For 1 hour.
Thank you.
And I point out what I saw, and
Sure.
I say we move up. We move up on them. I'm sure they don't probably have our capabilities here of night vision. So
Yeah. So as you start to kind of ease in there, oh, hang on. You may have said a thing that an adventurer would know. Hobgoblins, you would know, do have standard dark vision, but probably not the exceptional stuff that you just doled out. Right? Okay. So, as you sort of ease forward, and we're going to start drawing to a close here, because I don't have this map laid out for combat yet. Didn't think we were going in this direction. But as you start to ease your way into the canyon, now that you can see 300 feet in the darkness, you're able to pick up that one of those dark spots is indeed a cave. And that is located just a bit before the pile of bones. So you can see where one of those shadowy spots at the cavern floor, at the canyon floor level, is indeed a cave. It goes back a little ways in, and is big enough that could hold hobgoblins or bigger. You then got two large pillars or monoliths that are a little bit separated out from the wall. It looks like probably the wall was carved back a bit, so these are now standing stones to either side, and then those bones sort of lay out there. The bones go on a ways, a couple of 100 feet, but they start abruptly, and you can see beyond it where the floor smooths out again. So they've definitely been piled up that way there. that cave is definitely a problem. If there are guards there, and they're being intelligent guards, they would stand in the edge of the cave and look out, and if you walked in front of them, they would see you. What might you do on that approach? Pure stealth, fireball in the cave, all things are an option. How do you plan on making your approach towards it?
How wide is the canyon?
Cave width, you would say is...
I mean, the whole canyon.
The whole canyon is a good 200 feet across at the base, and then fairly steep rising.
So I was
Yes.
thinking maybe we could skirt the other side, and using the superior dark vision that he just granted us, perhaps we could see in the cave without them being able to see all the way to us.
Sure. That would be a definite option. You would still need a stealth check to keep from making noise and that sort of stuff. But
that's not my forte.
I could certainly help with that.
the party would need to make a stealth check to pull something along those lines off. And thank you out there, folks that are joining in. Nice to see you out there. So that seems like stick to the eastern side, a little bit of stealth to get you through. Now, once you're past that cave, you've then got the bone pile and then those two pillars to deal with. Crunching your way through the bone pile is probably going to be a noisy situation, and possibly that's why it's there. So you could certainly plan on stealthing past the initial cave, but that bone pile will kind of be a challenge sort of situation in there as well. That's where we're going to start to draw it to a close this evening as the party's making their way forward. I will prep the hobgoblins of the Camel Boneyard for our next session of the Dark Tower here. As we start to bring that one to a close, I'm going to ask for a little session one recap question, and that is this. What, if anything, did you learn about your own character during this session that you hadn't thought about prior to getting in the session? If nothing, if you already had your character perfectly memorized, cool to hear. But if you're like, I hadn't thought of that, and all of a sudden decided on a new thing, I'm curious what that might be. Do we have any volunteers? Did anybody come up with an interesting tidbit about their character, kind of on the spur of the moment during this session?
I have made my character more ditzy than I imagined. I think that was the main thing. I'm sure there's others in there, because I wasn't sure what I was going to go in with, but that was the main. I was like, I made him stupider than I intended.
So Tann has, so I think maybe some encouragement there. I'm gonna speak towards it. Tahir seems very impulsive, so I don't know if
Absolutely.
I don't know if Tann is actually that silly, or if Tann's first instinct is just being leaped on by Tamir.
Well, I did plan for Tann to be a bit more. That's why I described him as thrill-seeking. So he does want to go into situations that are potentially dangerous just for the sake, like the excitement of it. Like he finds it fun, even though he shouldn't because he's a squishy sorcerer. But in doing that, I also unintentionally made him sound very stupid.
Well, we'll see how wise or smart as we start to do what some sorcerers are very good at, which is throw lightning and such things around. Any other volunteers? Somebody who's discovered something about their character?
I would say that Dahrian is maybe either braver, not as wise as I had originally thought. We're going to be taking on an army of them. So.
Heroism is a hell of a drug.
Yes.
So once it's in your system, I hear heroing is very hard to overcome. But yeah, it's good to see you all taken up on adventure there. Tahir, Andry, Blitz, anything you want to throw in?
I didn't have any idea what type of personality. I don't know. I was so busy making the character and everything, and I don't know. I didn't know until we played,
So if you're winging it, that's amazing. I'm really liking how Blitz is coming together. The thing I'm curious about, and first session with a character, there's so much stuff going on. I'm waiting to see how Blitz interacts with Bowser, like in combat. Is Bowser a tool set to you, or is Bowser a friend? And I didn't get to hear it in this session yet because we had so much stuff going on. But I'm waiting. I'm eager to hear how you took that angle with.
I'm curious too.
Yeah, so we'll see that. Yeah, that'll be a fun one to find.
Also, I should have used the guidance cantrip at least once during this whole.
You learn it.
Completely forgot I had it.
So much stuff going on. Andry, Tahir?
You want to go or should I go?
I didn't really learn anything, so go ahead.
Andry's specialty. I learned nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like on initial concept, he's going to be like the studious one. You go to this person if you need a question answered or advice.
Mm-hmm.
Now just turn to, I mean, he has like sort of an immortality that he feels about himself, so he's all for all sorts of things. So he has that just, I guess, bravado or confidence of, no one's going to touch me. Let's be honest here. I'm just here for the fun of it at this point. And also because it seems like the exact opposite of the whole Shadar-kai whateverness. Because, my goodness, they are all edgelords. It's too much.
Well, I do believe your adorbs are being turned up as we speak, so
Totally.
We'll see how all that deploys.
Less dark leather and more like bright colors.
There we go. So when we come back next week, we will not immediately be rolling into initiative, but I will say you might want to flip over to the action sheet of your character sheet. It's probably going to happen pretty quick. Congratulations, folks. You have survived your first afternoon into evening in the area of the Dark Tower. We'll see if you make it through the night when we come back next week. And to everybody out there in the audience, thanks for hanging out and swinging by. If you like what we've been doing, we are 20 sides to every story. We are working our way through the 5e version of the about-to-be-released Original Adventures Reincarnated version of Dark Tower and the Chosen Sons of Set. Goodman Games is doing the release, and were kind enough to give us a early version of the contents to come out. If you do want to swing by and say hi, welcome, and swing by the Discord. If you'd like to play with us, if you would like to play D&D in our company, then feel free to drop in the Discord as well. We have a community campaign going on, which you can drop in and play. Tier 1 is levels 1 through 4, Tier 2, 5 and up. And the Tier 2 sessions are just kicking off with Alex, who is going to have to deal with, I think we've set him up with dragons, driders, demons, and all manner of nonsense as we get into the return to the Temple of Elemental Evil, leading into Princes of the Apocalypse, I believe is the goal. While the rest of our DMs and I play with other areas, I actually have I've actually got some hobgoblins to deal with. I've got hobgoblins on both sides because just recently hobgoblins were discovered in the areas that the Matricular Deep is dealing with. So, all kinds of stuff going on. Thanks, everybody. Alex, if you are listening, please feel free to raid to anybody who is still awake. I do see a few people out there. Looks like maybe Praters, maybe Hal Roll. Who else we go? Oh, Hero Zone. We'll head over there. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you in a few moments.
Night, everyone.
Night.
Night.
Bye-bye.